Welcome everyone to Afrik-innovscience, where we showcase outstanding minds in science, technology, and engineering across Africa. I'm Patrick Amunye, and today we have the privilege of speaking with a distinguished scientist who is making a significant impact in the field of tuberculosis nanodrugs and bioentrepreneurship. Join me in welcoming Dr. Vuyo. Now, let's dive into our conversation with Dr. Vuyo. Good day, Dr. Vuyo. Please, could you introduce yourself like that for the people who don't know you? Who are you?
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks for the warm welcome. My name is Vuyo. I am based at Stellenbosch University and the South African Medical Research Council. I run a group and a lab called Vuyo Lab at Stellenbosch, and our primary focus revolves around TB, and our aim is to discover new TB agents. And our focus really is on marine drugs. We use marine sponges. We use bacterial symbionts from marine sponges, and we decorate magnetic nanoparticles. So we are trying to drive a new narrative where we develop nanomedicines for TB as novel agents.
Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Mav. And I guess you collaborate with many experts from various fields. Can you provide some insights into these collaborations and how they contribute to advancing research in tuberculosis treatment?
Yes, we work closely with marine biologists. This is how we connect with the ocean. They know a little bit more than we do, and they can direct us into obtaining sources that contain viable bioactive agents. I work with a lot of mining engineers because we also are interested in extremophiles. When they go underground, we can get aquifer samples where we can isolate our bacteria. We work closely with organic chemists. So the space I occupy really is multidisciplinary. So people who come work with me have to appreciate the microbiology, the physics, the chemistry, analytical chemistry, and like I said earlier, marine sciences, marine chemistry, and then we dive a little bit more into nanoparticle synthesis. So, and yeah, we are open to collaborations with a diverse group of people who are interested in developing viable technologies for the continent and by the inhabitants of the continent is very important so that we also have a global footprint and a continental footprint.
Yeah, we are delving deeper into the world of tuberculosis nanodrugs. Dr. Mav, could you elaborate on the significant challenges you face in your research, especially in the context of tuberculosis, and what innovative approaches you have developed to address these challenges?
Yeah, so, TB is a curable disease. The problem arises when there is poor compliance. Treatment for TB takes a bit longer than normal. So you can spend over 5 months taking treatment. And I'm sure we all understand it's not easy to be taking drugs on a daily basis. And some of these drugs are very toxic. So there has to be a trade-off where you take a drug with an adverse reaction just to promote that which is beneficial. So a lot of people then tend to drop out of the treatment. And by so doing, then you generate drug-resistant strains. That's where you now have multi-drug resistant tuberculosis and XDR. So there is that compliance issue, and TB, for some reason, is just a resilient bacterium. A lot of the things we try to throw into this seem to not work as imagined. So that's one of the biggest challenges. And of course, you have funding, which is a big issue. You require a huge amount of people to join you in resolving some of these issues. So for you to have students that can perform, there has to be funding to support them. You need funding to buy reagents. You need funding for traveling, conferences, and so forth. So when that is a limitation, your whole vision is threatened. However, we can't concentrate on the limitations. We have to figure out ways, innovative ways of trying to circumvent all of that and try and be present in these conferences and try and recruit students. So we have various ways in which we can achieve those. But yeah, funding remains a big issue.
Yeah, funding is a big issue really in Africa, worldwide. So hopefully people watching this video will contact you, and why not try to encourage your work at Stellenbosch by funding more or inviting you to a conference in the world and taking charge of everything. So, Dr. Mav, we are curious about the broader implications of your work. How do you envision the impact of your research and advancement in tuberculosis nanodrugs on healthcare in Africa and globally, particularly considering the prevalence of tuberculosis in the region?
Well, there are many efforts directed at getting new drugs. We're not the only people who are working in this space. There are a lot of other researchers across the continent and within South Africa and other parts of the world. And the idea really is to, like I said earlier, to come up with new efficacious agents that can resolve the disease speedily and without any adverse reactions. So we are exploring the use of nanoparticles and to formulate nanodrugs as a way of contributing into the space. Now, these are not easy undertakings. They require time. You need to put effort. And you need to be intentional about what you are doing. So while we are trying to develop these agents, we also are trying to train students. And we have a very diverse footprint from within the country and across the continent. We really try to reach out to other parts of the continent. Students do come over to join us from time to time. We have a number of postgraduate students who are studying with us, being trained with us, and the idea is that when they're done, they can go back to respective countries and contribute accordingly. And the biggest thing really is, I think for my research group, is to show that we are responsible for coming up with solutions that seek to develop our continent. We need to be accountable as scientists to train the new generation that comes up. And that new generation needs to understand that the longevity of the communities in this region depends on them. So we try to inspire, we try to excite, we try to promote the work that we do so that other aspiring scientists in the continent can really see benefit in joining forces and becoming scientists. Being a scientist really is not a special thing that comes from a special place. It comes from within when you want to solve a problem. So scientists are diverse. It could be a social scientist, a mathematician, an engineer, whatever. But it comes from within when you want to solve your problems. And you need to be passionate about solving your own continental problems and try and be global in doing so. And, we need to remove the whole victim mentality thing. It's something that comes up in a lot of talks. We can do as much as we want to in terms of contributing. We can develop technologies that can benefit not only the continent but the rest of the world. So we need to be open-minded when we do this. However, the biggest thing is to be intentional and to have integrity in what we do. We need to be honorable in conducting our business for the sake of the people we work with, our communities, our countries, and
worldwide.
The whole continent is very important. And you need to claim your spot globally. It's very important, and do your bit. So I think in a nutshell, that's what we try to do. The inspiration is what drives us. The nurturing is what drives us. It's very important.
That's a powerful vision. Try to impact and show the way to the next generation. That's a powerful vision, Dr. Marv. As a scientist and academic, what advice do you have for aspiring biochemists and researchers, especially those in Africa, looking to make a difference in the field of tuberculosis research and beyond?
Well, I think the discussion can be beyond tuberculosis. You want to look at that which is afflicting your environment, your immediate environment. And by just trying to figure out a way to resolve that, then, you are beginning to make inroads. You are beginning to make a contribution. It's not the remuneration you get, but the love of what you're doing. So if a lot of people have said this in the past. If you love what you do, the remuneration comes automatically, right? So you seek to resolve, you seek to, like I said, to motivate, to inspire, and everything else will follow. And I think we need to lower our expectations. I think everybody wants to be a billionaire, So lower expectations, live within your means, and practice your interest, your passion, and resolve your immediate issues through your chosen field. So talking about biochemists here, but it could be a chemist, an aspiring chemist or physicist, right? So you resolve your immediate problems through your chosen profession. We need to be intentional about our agenda and not be apologetic about where we want to go and who we are. It's very important.
Yeah. Shifting gears for a moment, you also have experience as a lecturer. How do you integrate your research and industry experience into teaching to inspire and educate the next generation of scientists and bioentrepreneurs?
Well, you see, we start with the textbook to teach young students, and then later on you have to graduate and incorporate real life problems into that, so that it's not only abstract but it's practical. So you bring the industrial experience, you bring your own research experience and you merge all of that with the textbook basics. And you allow people to, or those students rather, to realize that what you are teaching in most cases is not necessarily new. The application may be new, but a lot of the technologies did exist. For example, if you talk about fermentation, right? Someone will go and study brewing and you ferment, but people have been fermenting for years. It's just that the processes were not documented, right? So now we are very scientific about our intent to ferment, time, the things we put in, the temperature, all of those things, all of those parameters, right? So you try to merge your practical experience, your research experience, your industrial experience, and the textbook fundamentals, and you let that simmer in the students' heads, and what you get out of that is magic. When the student is also in tune with your story.
Your journey is truly inspiring. You're a researcher, teacher, lecturer, bioentrepreneur. Could you share a bit more your personal journey in the field of biochemistry and what motivates you to continue your work in tuberculosis, nanodrugs, and bioentrepreneurship? Because something must motivate you, surely.
I think for me, it's just to make a difference. I want to make my own contributions. I want to add value. I'm not an island, so if someone else has TB in my vicinity, I'm most probably threatened. And it may not necessarily be TB; it could be any other disease that requires resolution. So, but for my purposes, I'm looking at TB. So it is really a matter of trying to resolve that which is a thorn. You are trying to create a legacy. You are trying to, and I suppose a legacy is a big word to use, but you are trying to make a footprint where other people can latch on and run to the next destination. So for me, the motivating factor really is contributing, and it's something that's close to my heart, to teach, to inspire, like I said before, and hopefully we can make products that we can commercialize. That's one of the ways you can neutralize the lack of funding. Once you have things that you can now commercialize, is very important.
And which can impact also the continent. On the continent. Exactly. As we wrap up our conversation, Dr. Marv, do you have any last thoughts or messages you'd like to share with our audience before we conclude this insightful conversation?
If we conducted ourselves with honor, distinction, and intent, we can achieve more as an entity than trying to outsmart each other, trying to prove each other wrong, trying to show off. A lot of people have said similar things before. I think I can only emphasize the message. We are stronger together, and ideas are contagious. So if you have an idea, it doesn't mean it's your idea alone. You'll be shocked when you realize someone else has a similar idea, just coming from a different thought process. So we collaborate in the ideas space, and we try and find goodness in each other. It's really important.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vuyo, for sharing your expertise and insights with us today. It's been a pleasure having you on Afrik-innovscience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Patrick.
And to our viewers, if you found this conversation as inspiring as we did, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated and with more remarkable stories from the world of science and technology. Until next time, this is Patrick Amunian signing off.